Hey everybody, Lewis here, Ropeadope Live in East Philadelphia. A little special guest here at the fake office today, Mr. Christian Scott. Thank you so much for coming down.
Thank you.
Being here, really good to see you.
I'm glad to be here. I'm home.
All right,
it's gonna be cool. Let's get it.
All right. So one of the things we did first is we had the special edition
The
vinyl. And you got your first copy, and we want to get a signed copy for the archives. You do that whenever you're comfortable.
Somewhere.
We'll find a Sharpie.
We can
we'll bring it over.
Yeah.
So what's up? What's going on in your world? I know you got a gig in Philly tonight, right?
Yeah, we play in Philly tonight. A new spot called South. It should be fun. Last night.
Have you been?
I haven't been yet.
It's nice.
So I keep hearing really great things. So I'm looking forward to burning it down tonight.
Beautiful.
The guys, we're gonna have some fun. But we played last night at the Kennedy Center, and then 2 days before that we did premiered some new music that's gonna be on one of the records that we're gonna do next year. The new trap music meets stretch music stuff at Harlem Stage.
Nice.
So yeah, we've just been running around trying to stay busy, and so things have gone well, and I'm just glad to be in Philly. I'm feeling like I'm home. I don't get here enough, so I'm glad
Philly's
to be here.
growing.
Man,
It's cool. Go hungry tonight to South. Food's good.
Okay, I heard the food is killer.
Food's good.
Someone told me there's like some really amazing catfish. I said,
Well, you'll be
right
the
up
judge.
my
I want to
alley.
hear what you think,
Yeah.
because you're from
This
New
is-
Orleans.
man.
It's
So we'll
called
see.
South.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
So we'll see.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about, one of the things we want to do on this show is talk about how we met, how these things came about. So you and I met outside. I remember it being cold outside. It was January, New York City.
Yeah, Winter Jazz Festival.
There you go.
Yeah, Winter Jazz Festival. So we were walking. I was walking between gigs to go and see my Uncle Donald play with the Cookers band.
Aha.
Yeah, and so like
Is
Corey.
he a member of the Cookers?
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah.
So I should know that.
No,
Well,
man, I love that group too, right?
we're going to put out David Weiss's record.
Really?
Here in
Okay.
spring.
Cool.
So,
yeah, man.
there's
So yeah,
a
that's
tie-in.
what's great about this band too, it's like you have all these killers that have played in so many different contexts. And for my opinion, for the post-pop thing, you couldn't possibly put together a better band of veterans. So like, whenever I hear them play, I'm just like floored, because you hear the history of the music in a way that you haven't in a long time, right? Eddie Henderson, obviously, is one of my favorite trumpet players. So we were headed over to go and see them, and yeah, we sort of just chopped it up in the middle of the street, and eventually met up to go to hang out at Corey Fonville's set, and Matt Stevens played that night as well.
Did he?
Yeah, Matt's band played
I didn't meet
as well.
Matt that day.
Yeah,
I have yet to meet Matt.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you know how I feel about it.
You guys are going to do a couple of things together.
We're gonna
possibly
do
next
everything
year?
we can do together.
Good.
I mean, Matt was in my group for 10 years. He was musical director in the band the last 3 years he was in the group. And
Gotcha.
so this is like musically he's my blood. So I'm looking forward to getting back with him.
What's going through my head right now is, can I say that we're putting out the Matt's record in the spring as well? Because I don't know if it's been announced yet, but there it is. It's been announced.
Yeah. Well, I think part of what he was talking about too is like we're all excited about the new Stretch Music Festival that's coming up in February the 17th and 18th. And so we're gonna both be
At Harlem Stage?
At Harlem Stage.
Okay.
So we're gonna headline that festival together. So that's gonna
Beautiful.
be cool too. Yeah. But
So
yeah,
Corey, my side of that, sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
Butcher Brown, there's this string in my life of these kind of random encounters.
I get that.
So I remember, I want to track this one back for you. So Gennaro Jarrell put a record out with us back in the early 2000s, maybe 2004. He's connected with a guy named Scott Burton, guitar player in Richmond, Virginia.
Okay.
And Scott hangs out with Reggie Pace, Corey Fonville, Devon Harris.
Right.
So they were up here playing. They were at a show. They were going to a show in Philly, and I met those guys. So I met Reggie and Devon. So then Jellystone Records came on to Ropeadope, put out the Butcher Brown record. So I'm in New York at Winter Jazz Fest to see those guys.
Yeah.
And of course Corey is your drummer.
Yeah.
Right? So
They were throwing down.
it's all this random connections. But
kind of came together.
when I met you, I was like, this cat You know?
Yeah, but I had a similar feeling too, because we didn't speak long at first, but when we sat down, had a couple drinks, kind of wrapped it out and everything, it was like, this cat's ideas are like, I've been looking for you. so yeah, so I was.
I hope I measure up.
No, you have,
Right.
and we're just gonna keep building. But like, yeah, it's man, come on.
Then
But
I
I was just like,
Orleans.
where has this dude been? You know what I mean? You guys can't see what's going on behind the camera, but I just got to keep it real. I was like floored by your vision. So yeah, so I'm excited to continue to be a part of the family and to keep building. But yeah, that night was like a red letter day for me.
That's cool. It's cool.
Yeah.
I went down to New Orleans right after,
Yeah.
and you're like, yeah, you got to come down, talk to my
museum
mom,
out.
check out the museum, and I'm like,
Yeah, that was so much fun.
I remember the cab ride though over there, and I was like, yeah, I mean, because I've been in New Orleans a few times in my life, but I hadn't been since right before Katrina. It was Jazz Fest before Katrina, and I never, I'm not a Mardi Gras tourist.
Yeah.
But I'm also
Yeah.
not like I don't know New Orleans that well.
Yeah.
So when the cab took me into, is it the Lower Ninth Ward?
Yeah, upper
Like
ninth ward.
Upper
Yeah.
Ninth Ward. To, I was like, wow, I'm here. Where the place that everybody unfortunately now knows. From Katrina, but
Yeah.
that was a great trip.
Man, that was so much fun. But yeah, the museum, we were like, let's meet up and hang out. So my grandfather has a museum. My granddad's a guy named Donald Harrison Sr., is a big chief.
Big chief.
Passed away a few years ago, but back in New Orleans, and we have a museum to honor him in the Ninth Ward. And so we thought that would be like a really cool place for us to meet with Louis, so he could also see a bit more of where I'm coming from, other than just like the trumpet situation. So I thought it was really cool.
I learned a lot about, and I advise people like who are watching this to dig into the history, the real history of Mardi Gras, of I hate to say Indians, but it's Native Americans,
Afro-Americans, Black
and
Indians,
and African Americans, and it's a rich, interesting history that really you don't hear a lot about.
But
it
you
kinda
hear
gets
in
glossed
everything.
over.
Which is really crazy, right? Because most of I think what doesn't get spoken about so much is a lot of the rhythms and things that came out of Congo Square come directly from this culture. And that's pretty much what filtered into the rest of the country and created a lot of this sound that you hear. So yeah, really beautiful culture.
Good. Cool.
That's cool.
I gotta look at my notes.
No, it's cool. It's all good. This is round one.
There we go.
I get it.
Round one. I hope it's like this in round 30.
You know?
I hope I'm still like, oh, hold on, guys, I forgot my glasses. Yeah. We got the trip. I wanted to ask you about the app and like what people we'll talk about in the show in other parts of the show of what the app's about.
Okay.
But do you have? I mean, I guess I gotta kind of prepave it. So
No.
Stretch Music app is.
Yeah, so the Stretch Music app is the first interactive media player for a CD, I guess is the easiest way to explain part of it. Right, what the app allows you to do is it allows you to customize your listening or practicing experience through controlling the stems and channels, right? So as an example, if you're a trumpet player and you want to learn the record or learn my part, you have the ability to solo my instrument out. You have the ability, if you don't want me there, which is how I prefer to listen to the app, and you can mute the trumpet the whole way through, right? So you can solo any instrument, solo groups of instruments, mute any instrument, mute groups of instruments. You can pan any instrument from left to right depending on how you're listening to it. It comes with the lead sheets and the charts for every instrument on every track. You also have a looping function. So let's say you don't want to play like the whole 7-minute song. You just want to play like a 16-bar passage and practice that, and you can loop. But it also comes with tempo controlling. So if you're not at a level to be able to play my joint at tempo, then you can slow it down to be able to actually play it at a tempo that's more comfortable for you while you build it up. So obviously for kids, they love it. The kids have freaked out. I mean, the app has done really well. But what I like about it is when it's not just musicians, it's just audiophiles like it, because it gives them the ability to be able to mix and do different things with records that they've never been eligible to do before, right? So we partnered with you, and we partnered with Tootie, which is now Spectrum, Darren Hoffman and Kristen McIntyre at Spectrum to put this thing together, and we're gonna have some more stuff out this year.
Right.
Yeah.
Where are we
which is
headed
gonna be
with it?
really cool.
What's happening?
Man, well, so there's a couple things happening. I know, like right now, we're trying to figure out. So we're. Is it okay to talk about the new joints?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay with me. I know we're doing it. I know we're doing it. It's just
Let's be
because
vague.
you know what I'm saying. Okay,
Let's
yeah,
be
we'll be
vague.
okay.
All
All
right.
right. So look,
It's some really exciting new
well, the
music
music
coming
is
up.
already there, right?
That we can't tell you about.
Right on this app, we can't tell you about. So there's a lot of music coming next year. We're gonna put it like that. There's a lot of music coming next year. Not just from me, but at least with the app, you know, we're also working with Sarah Charles, and we've been talking to like Eddie Palmieri and trying to figure that whole thing out. But in addition to our records that are coming in, that wasn't so vague.
No, that wasn't vague at all.
Fuck it, yeah, fuck it.
It is. We tried.
It's
We
coming.
tried best.
So yeah, we got a lot coming down the pipeline. But
that's gonna be really exciting.
It's gonna be really cool.
Yeah.
So, but there's a lot. But I'm really, really excited to see how people are gonna respond to this, because we're doing one of the records that we're talking about is like trap music. So I want to see how the younger musicians react to being able to do this with like subs and like 808 sounds and this type of stuff, because it's quite different than just the normal stretch music stuff that we do, where it's more like creative improvised music, and it's really more, the music is more banging. So I'm kind of, you know, curious to see how the younger folks are going to react to that.
I'm gonna say like you don't.
I sound like an old guy now, right? Where it's the younger folks, how they're going to react to it. But
we're talking about grade school.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
I'm the older.
Oh no, come on, we're 17.
You know, just question pops into my head.
Yeah.
And just straight up, I'm not trying to be anything.
That's so
define
funny. That
anything.
was not big at
But
all.
like,
I'm sorry.
no, that was straightforward. You have to pay attention. You can rewind it, loop it, check, and hear the names. You don't see any conflict or difference between jazz and what you're doing, do you? At
No.
all? And trap music or any of those?
No.
It's a natural.
I don't see the
progression. Am I
lines.
right?
Can I be really real
Yeah.
for a minute?
That's what
So,
we're here for.
You know, when I was a young kid, growing up in New Orleans, I grew up in the Ninth Ward we talked about before. The school that I went to was like the William France, like the first desegregated school in the country. And the neighborhood that I grew up in was originally, obviously, since the school is the first desegregated school in the country, it was obviously a white neighborhood first, and then blacks started to go to school there and encroached into the space. Then it became inundated, and then the dynamics of the neighborhood changed. But I saw an incredible amount of derision and sort of unlordable behavior go back and forth between people over topical issues, right? Because the people in the community, whether you were white or black, were enduring the same experience. Whether or not you're talking about food insecurity, whether or not you're talking about people being undereducated so there can be a labor class, the experience was the same.
So it's pretty much all the same economic.
Exactly.
Economic strata. Okay.
Absolutely. Poor. But because of topical things, they blamed each other and dealt with each other as adversaries when really they were going through the same things, right? And so I realized at a very young age, when I started to play music, that I had an opportunity to address this musically, right? So at its core, like obviously there are the conceptual elements of stretch music, and that is what it is. But at its core, stretch music came out of me trying to conjecturing as to how to create a space in art where I could eradicate the notion or the idea of race, right? So, as an example, if I tell you to visualize a salsa musician, you're going to see a very specific thing. If I say to visualize a Western classical musician, you're going to see a very specific thing. If I say visualize a trap musician, you're going to see a very specific thing, right? And part of what we don't realize is a lot of how music can be disseminated and historically has been disseminated to people. The genres are they're highly racialized. So I figured that if I could refine the ability to marry any textural, any sonic reality, any language musically with another, if I can obliterate those lines in genre, then what am I saying about the people, right? That they belong together, right?
Absolutely.
So when you ask me, do I see those lines? Like, yes, obviously on some levels those lines exist. But to me, it's more important to illuminate the sameness between people than the differences. Like, we've spent I mean, look, you could make an argument for the history of Western civilization is illuminating the differences, and we've seen how that's worked out on some levels. And so I'm not at all interested in that. I wake up for the notion that I can mix traditional Japanese music with the rhythms of the Saramakan in Guyana, with the rhythms of what you hear in Afro-Native American culture in New Orleans and the Delta blues. Like, this is what I get up for, right? So yeah, I don't see the lines because I don't see the lines in the people.
Well, it's interesting. I think you're kind of saying you do see the lines that have previously been drawn.
Yeah, but it's
and
time
you're
to break
deliberately breaking those down for the purpose of humanity, not necessarily just for the purpose of music.
No, not at all.
For the purpose of the world.
Yeah.
For all of us to connect and break
and
those
wake
lines.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. I mean, I think I started to ask the questions about it was kind of a musical question because the more stuff that we have on the label, the more we notice that certain, well, that just about everything we have is sort of outside. I don't know what the word, normal jazz?
Yeah, I understand.
Proper jazz.
Right.
For some reason.
I understand.
And I think that's going to be a regular topic here with people is why, and is this a natural extension?
But that is the tradition. That's what's crazy to me, right? As a practitioner, as someone that learned to play this instrument in the Treme neighborhood in New Orleans, where all of this stuff comes from. The elder musicians, they didn't see, there's this idea that traditional jazz is jazz that sounds like it was created from 1916 to 1955, right? Oh, okay. But what the tradition is actually is about moving forward and to try and find new landscapes, new terrain, new spaces to be able to communicate what people are enduring or going through, right? I always learned that jazz is a synonym for blues. Right? And I don't mean like blues in the like woe is me melancholic sense, but blues in the sense that this is the human being's most sincere expression of what they've endured and experienced, right? Mm-hmm. So when you look at it on that level, then why wouldn't it constantly evolve? Like, our experiences are evolving, right? Like, obviously, I could sit here and play the Tiger Leaf Rag for you and play something that sounds like Doc Cheatham or Louis Armstrong in 1925, but what does my experience have to do? How is my experience related to what they experienced? Like, we're sitting here with, I got an iPhone 7. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, it's a completely different scenario than somebody that was born in the Red River Valley in 1901. You know what I'm saying? So the music should embody that in some levels. It doesn't mean that you don't pay homage and you don't harken back to that in moments if you want to, but I think to sort of superimpose this projection of what the music is supposed to be to people that are going through things and trying to express things as a means of communicating and building something that has a communicative value for their generation. I don't think people should be browbeaten with the tradition in that way, because if you're actually paying attention to it, not only if you're paying attention to it, but also if you listen to the older masters, the tradition is actually to continue to search and to try and find new means to communicate with people.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't have a lot of respect for the boundaries.
Yeah.
But I think the intent of my question, and we'll pick this conversation up
you and me both.
Later, is how I think that jazz, whatever that is, has the potential to become a populist form through the methods that you're using, and a lot of the artists that I talk to around Ropeadope. It's kind of like, and I don't know if it's actually gonna really happen in a big way, but I feel something rumbling.
Yeah.
That jazz is about to kind of go explore everything. Yeah. Or jazz musicians, really, not jazz. Right. It's you guys doing it. You're out there, like Corey King's recent record, Matt's record, everything that seems to be coming in the last year or so has been that, well, I'm a jazz musician, but I'm doing this. Right. Because something is inspiring me to do that. Yeah. So that's where I'm at. I just want to, one last thing, just we can close it up with Stretch Music. What's the title going to be? Do you know yet?
The next ones?
Yeah.
So I'm game to talk about it. Yeah, cool. So we got three
Well, you
joints
got a
up
thing
for
coming.
you. Yeah,
Three-
we got 3 joints coming.
3 records.
We're still
Which may be
deciding
3
what-
parts to 1.
Right, we're still trying to figure out whether or not it's going to be like a trilogy situation, sort of coupled together. But in my mind's eye, I see them as 3 separate documents that are obviously there's a relatedness and connectedness because it's the same compositional voice. But the first one is called Ruler Rebel, right, which is identifying who you're listening to. The second one is called Diaspora, which is all of us, so who's being spoken to. And then the last one is called The Emancipation Procrastination, which is what we're talking about.
Well,
Yeah.
first.
Your first time hearing all that. Yeah.